Hi, everybody. Welcome to the January 19th, 2018 edition of Colorado Inside Out Postgame, a special web-exclusive production here on Channel 12. I'm Dominic Dezzutti. Let's get started. Let's get a quick take on the Denver Post transitioning to a subscription-based only online publication in addition to their printed edition. Readers will now be subject to a fee in order to access articles online, although print edition users will be grandfathered in. You'll be able to use your subscription there. Essentially, the Denver Post adopts a paywall. Patty Calhoun from Westword does not have a paywall. What do you think of this? This is Denver's big remaining only daily going to a paywall. I saw some journalists supporting this move from other media. How do you think it's going to go?
Well, not well, is what I think. I mean, paywalls in general for long-term subscribers are an option, but the question is who is going to come in who's a new reader? I mean, it might maintain some of your current readership who don't want the print paper at home anymore, who haven't signed up for the digital paper, and so who will pay for that because they want to continue reading the Post. But I just don't see that you get new readers. And newspapers, no publications are going to survive, no media outlets are going to survive without bringing in young readers, young viewers, and it's a real challenge. We've always been free, so we don't have a paywall, and I can tell you it saves a lot of trouble. You know, but you have to prove that you have value, and you've got to sell advertising, which ultimately is really what made a difference in newspapers too. It wasn't the number of subscribers, it was how much you could charge for advertising because you had so many subscribers.
David Kopel from the Independence Institute and DU Law School. This made big news. There were comments back and forth. At the end of the day, do you think this is going to be the move that helps Denver sustain a daily newspaper?
I hope so, because certainly the old model wasn't working. You know, you get all these clicks, but if you're free, but as the Post pointed out in its editorial this weekend, a lot of the click revenue has been monetized by Facebook or Google or someone else. And the idea of we just bring in greater traffic, and even though those readers are less valuable to an advertiser than the readers in a print edition, that we would make it up on volume, but you couldn't make it up on volume. You know, 10 million times zero is still not a business model in which you can pay your reporters. So I say good for them, and you know, not few things in life are free, are free, and journalism is not one of them. Reporters, editors, copy editors need to be paid. So if you want to enjoy the Denver Post, and which is still the best overall statewide news source, yeah, pay for it. Nobody owes you free words.
Eric Sondermann, political analyst, what do you think about the timing? Because this is a decision that some papers, we'll be talking to one of the reporters in just a second, made this decision a while ago. Denver Post finally went there. Is it the right time?
I don't know if there's ever a right time, but the wrong time is to continue with a model that doesn't work. So you have to do something. Obviously, you know, we see the Post leaving downtown Denver this week. I mean, obviously it's a paper that's been in a downward spiral for some time, and a paper that's struggling. I don't want to take up too much time because Patty already went, and my friend Ed Sealover will go next, and they both have more experience in the realm than do I. That said, I think, you know, I largely agree with David. The content should have value. Now it is incumbent upon the paper to provide content that does have value, and that, you know, the marketplace determines that it is worth paying for. My experience, limited as it is with watching journalism, is the papers that have successfully done paywalls are prestige papers. It's the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, the Washington Post, and whatever, where there is a perception that this is something I need, at least in terms of mass circulation papers, that this is something I need. It's the obligation is now on the Post to provide something that people need, where they are willing to pay for that click, or to do what some of you around the table do and still get the print edition, where this now comes free, or what I do because of time out of town and get the digital edition, but it's also an annual check, and then this comes free. So we're already paying for our content, and David's essentially right. Content should not be free.
Except for public television, but it's not free. Our membership drive just starts next weekend. As alluded to, the esteemed Ed Sealover from the Denver Business Journal joins us, rounds out the panel. The Business Journal's had a different kind of, but a solid paywall for a while. And before we started to roll, you talked about how the newspaper has adjusted how it approaches those economics. What is your view on the Denver Post going to a paywall, especially from a person who has worked in the newspaper industry here in Colorado for a while.
Well, I'm proud of the Denver Post for doing this. And just explain our paywall for those who don't read us. We put some of our stories behind line. Basically anything we've got on our own, anything we put in a substantial amount of time into, anything we're putting in our print edition. Whereas if we're just doing something that's a quick hit covering something that everyone's covering, we don't tend to put that behind a paywall. And I think you see a lot of papers doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that, experimenting. But the key is there's got to be some revenue coming in from readership. Newspapers have made a ton of mistakes in trying to figure out how to readjust to the market. The biggest one we made was 20 years ago when everybody saw the internet coming up and said, hey, you know what would be a fun idea? Let's just put all our stuff up for free. Nobody's going to stop paying for a subscription if we give it to them for free as well. And that not only cost us substantially in terms of subscriptions, we've raised an entire generation of people to believe that news is free. Well, news isn't free. And I'll tell you what, if you want news that's free, you deserve the news you get for the amount you pay for it. And this has to be done, not just here, but in cities across the country. People have got to start demanding that if you trust the people that we have sending out there to report on the news for you, and you want someone to look at it and analyze it and give you real news reporting, you've got to be willing to pay for it. And I think it's great that the Post is doing that, and hopefully we can re-educate the public that journalists are a service like any other service out there, and that there has to be some monetary transaction with that.
Yeah, plumbers won't come to work in my house for free, so why should I get free information? It makes a lot of sense. And I can imagine those people 20 years ago thinking, oh, this is going to be great. We'll do it for free. We'll advertise it in phone books. What could go wrong? Yeah, I get it. Well said, Ed. That is all the time we have for CIO Postgame this week. Leave us a comment. Tell us what you think. For everyone here at CPT12.org, I'm Dominic Dezzutti. Thanks for watching.